connections, a motherly connections, a brotherly and sisterly connections. The humanity is one family. There are different levels of relationship that I will be talking in the second book, and the last book, the third book. But one of them is definitely towards the spouse, but it's also towards children. These children, they have to grow of the old age, past ways. They're not just to be born out of you. You know, I remember some French guy who used to say that when I look at my children, they don't look like me, they look like their uncle. They don't listen to me. None of them look like me. I just been a crankshaft in this relationship, he was saying. Because the children. I said, yeah, because the extension of the children's today in the new spirituality of Baha'ullah, it goes beyond this genetic connections and the material connections. It's the spiritual connection. Certain people, you feel to teach them. I do that all the time. And they seem to be better than my own son, than my own daughter. Not that they're better than my son is very good. But the relationship that I have with them is stronger than I have with my son and with my daughter. This being so close sometimes hinders and becomes an obstacle. Physical affinity. So let's extend it beyond the physics. We know blood is nothing. Connection to the blood, that was the past ideas. It's the genes. But how many people have the same genes as you? Therefore, genetically, they are your children. They are your brother or sister. But we have to extend the hand to create this kind of vows. Not just the vow of marriage, also the vow of parenting, of children, of sisters and brothers. So this is one of those things, spiritual ability, that is very, very essential, that we develop that feeling. What is this in the West that I don't understand? Even I say sometimes to my brother in Iran, that children, they grow 15 and 16, they're kicked out of the house. Based on where I come from in Iran, and even as to Indian and Chinese, that is the worst time to say to the kid that he has to go to work. You have to try to keep him so to do his study and you be with him. You see? If you don't have developed these connections, you'll be surprised that your child at age 15, he would have to go to learn things from the other people. And then there's no connections. Because out of parenting, all you have to understand, first, to give birth to the child. Secondly, go try to make money so he can live his life. What about the spending time with them, enjoying them, creating a relationship? You see, taking time out and go with them out. When you sign up the kids, you are in a contract with God. You have to do it. If you don't do it, you'll be unhappy. Especially when you grow up. So as children, many of them in the West, their mom and dad, they're all lonely. Amazingly, one lonely man, right up to age 80 and 90 in his house. Nobody comes to visit him. Yeah, once in a week. Look at the East Indians. Mom and dad, when they come to that age, they live with the family. And it was the case with the white people before. We have lost something through this civilization. We have to stop that. Your mom and dad are very, very important. You to take care of them if you want your children to take care of you. And if you want to taste the happiness beyond this material desire. The problem with the material desire is make the person individualistic so much that he's so private that he can't take the presence of anybody. Because in his private life he does so many weird things that no one can be in his presence. Therefore he likes always to be private, and he calls that freedom. Dumb, that is, not free, dumb free. What freedom is that? What privacy? We can't enjoy the presence of others, especially those of your, your parents and your children, or your brother and sister. So they don't understand. When I sometimes talk to my brother, says that why would the white people get rid of their kids at age 15 and 16? Why? We don't understand it. This guy, the kids, hasn't married, he's gone to university, he's getting a job and is still at their house. Lots of Italians I've seen in this country that are like that. Stick with their children. Portuguese. Greek people, many of them anyways. But this is something very conspicuously lost in the English people, in the Anglo-Saxon, French race, German people. But it wasn't like that before. That's why the society was thriving. That's why the word stress was not even in the dictionary, what it means. Because people were together. This connection, just the more and more of a human connection is there in one spot, the stronger the individual becomes. I've said this formula before. One is strong only if it's a part of the strong society. If the society is not as strong, that individual cannot feel strength. To create that society, that to become strong, the individual characters among the Amish people, among the Hutterites, among the Mennonites are very strong. I've seen it because the society is close connected. Although they have a lot of things that I disagree with, but also there are a good part about it. So I think I spoke not too long, but I'm going to conclude this because this is one of the virtues that I wanted to talk about it. And my God, Baha'i faith is full of it. Read the story of Warqa, one of the first hands of the cause of God, and his son Ruhullah. He was always with his 12 years old son, and this father and son, they were martyred. And what an example of a father and son walking always together, being together, martyred together. This 12 years old boy was so brilliant, so amazingly brilliant, that whenever I read about him, I feel so poor. I feel so destitute. I feel so backward. I feel so undeveloped. And the father was a doctor at the time. Look at the poetry of this Ruhullah, the 12 years old boy, and the poetry of his father. This young man was so spiritual that they say Abdul Baha, when he wants to teach, he says, we ask Ruhullah. If he says to teach him, we'll teach him. If not, no. They told him one day, he said to him, Ruhullah, if promised one, let's say Jesus Christ, all of a sudden appears to the way Christians are waiting from the sky on clouds and all that, what would you do? He said, I will take him down and I will teach him to understand who real Baha'ullah is. And the promised one is somebody else. He was that confirmed and believing, convinced, I would say. And such a recognition he had from Baha'ullah. That is most amazing. This father and son is one of the great examples. There's thousands of it. But this one comes always in the eye. Their pictures is there. If you ever go to the Baha'i library.org, there are links out there, the Baha'i pictures. If you write Warqa and Ruhullah, you will see them. They were chained, and they died so ferociously by the hand of this Hussein Khan Ajudan Bashi. This man was so reckless, so cruel, and he killed this young boy. When he went towards the body jumped. He was so scared to see this. So extraordinary relationship of father and son that they both martyred for the cause of Baha'ullah. So finally, to sum it up, the family sense of family orientation, this feeling that is in us towards people as a child, as a son, as a father, it has to be developed. It is a true spiritual faculty. We have to have that. We should look at people not, oh, this is my wife, oh, this is my husband. Also, that could be my son, that could be my daughter. Oh, he looks like my father, he's my mother. I feel like a brother or a sister towards this person. And pass these lines of all this lines of the color and lines of this and that and that. I remember in 1984 to come down here in Sarnia as a Baha'i. I was amazed to see Cathy McKigney and Larry McKigney. Cathy was a brilliant Baha'i, very spiritual. I'm sure they're not alive now. Larry was not a Baha'i, in fact. But these people adopted many black children. And these black children, they grow up, they love them to death. One of them, Tony McKigney, I was told he was playing in the NHL for St. Louis Blues. And I think his real name, I think it was Saeed, which is a Muslim name. But they call him Tony. So look at, learn from Canadians that they are so brave. They pass these hurdles of color and race and everything else. Their liking is so genuine. This is one nation, some nations similar to that, in America and the United States, are definitely surpassed the rest of the world in seeing others as their family, their mother, their father, especially their children. There's lots of them. They love to adopt children from all over the world. The more different they are, the better they are for them. So, something to learn from Canadian here. Very well, may God be with you till the next time.